You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
Welcome everybody to the Four Corners, brought to you by the Official Wrestling Museum. We are your hosts. I am Angel, and I'm joined by the Official Wrestling Museum's Hall of Famer,
Low Life.
and we got a pretty interesting show today. It's a unique topic. I think for me, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. He kind of got filled into it a little bit today, and he's still kind of figuring out how we're gonna
Not only do I
make
not
it into
know my
this.
picks, but I don't understand the concept fully.
I think it's a unique concept, and I think we might back off, bounce off this show, and maybe do an encore show of this on another type of program that we put on. Before we get into all that, make sure you guys see your QR code. Scan it for us. It takes about 10 seconds, totally free. Help us make a National Pro Wrestling Day. We already have it here in Rhode Island. Speaking about Rhode Island, we got a bunch of things coming up on October 19th. We're going to be back in Riverside, starting at the Riverside Square for the parade at 11 a.m. Going to the carousel, we'll be there at 3 o'clock, signing autographs, taking free pictures and autographs for their trunk or treat event. The next day, we're going to be at Fairhaven Recreational Center for the Family Fun Day and Walk. We'll be there from 10 a.m. to 1 for their trunk or treat event as well, too, doing the autographs. And with anti-bully rally as well. October 25th, we're at the Portuguese Holy Ghost Society in West Warwick from 7 to 10. October 26th, Saturday, we're at the Texas Roadhouse. If I'm not mistaken, it's from 12 to 3, but check our social media for that information. We'll be there for the trunk or treat event, signing autographs as well. Later, and all kids, I believe from the ages of 10 and under, could be 12, will get a free meal that day if they come dressed up. And then we also have later that night, we're going to be out doing a trunk or treat event at the former Bishop Conley High School. We'll be out there from 6 to 9 p.m. October 27th, we're going to be doing the Epilepsy Walk in Pawtucket. So make sure you guys come on out. It's good for a great cause. We're very much behind that. And then later that night, we'll be in Coventry for the Soccer Society out there from 5 to 8 p.m. That's open to the public, all free events, all trunk or treat events. Come on out, meet us, get your picture with us. Totally free to do. There are other events that we are participating in that we will be showing you clips on come next month. Unfortunately, we can't air it to the public just because it's just for that particular organization itself. November 1st to 3rd, we'll be at RI Comic Con. Come on out. If you see us walking around, you want a picture, autograph, go at it. Totally free of charge. And we're going to be covering it like we covered Terracon. We had a great time at that. This year, they have Nature Boy Ric Flair, Hardy Boys, Dudley Boys, Lex Luger, Britt Baker, Darby Allin, DDP, Kane, Mick Foley, Rikishi, Swerve, Francine, and they also have David Arquette that you get your world title signed. So that's a really great lineup right there. Are you ready for this show? You seem so enthused for this show.
I'm just waiting to see.
All right,
how
so
you
this show
explain it
here,
and pick.
this topic is the best debate topics, okay? What do we mean by this? If you're sitting and you're having a cookout someplace and you're with a bunch of your family or your friends and you start talking wrestling, and the best of between these two individuals or these two music or gear or whatever the case is, and you can say, oh, I picked this person. Nope, I picked this person. But there's evidence behind it that the debate literally goes on and on and on. It's just not a fast. So perfect example, who's better, Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels? That'll be an honorable mention. We won't use that, right? So Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels? Well, everybody's going to turn around and say Bret Hart. Everybody's going to turn around and say Shawn Michaels. But you have facts that you can talk about why Bret Hart is better than Shawn Michaels. There's facts on why Shawn Michaels is better than Bret Hart. And you can have a lengthy discussion about this. It's not like saying, and there's nothing against the person, Tony D from NXT. If Tony D or Shawn Michaels, who's a better wrestler? Hands down, anybody's going to say Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels, by far, is a better worker, talker, performer, entertainer than Tony D is. Tony D's just getting into the business. He doesn't have the experience of Shawn Michaels. So that is not going to be a type of question that's going to be asked today, because it's a clear-cut answer. You have to be a diehard Tony D fan in order to say him over Shawn Michaels. You would never have to see Shawn Michaels work to pick Tony D. But with Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, that's a discussion that you can have for hours on end. So those are the type of questions we're going to ask, and then we're going to put the top 4 questions in our 4 corners. Are you ready?
Sure.
Feel that excitement, folks.
Let's see what
All
you're...
right. So I'm going to toss out the first one. Who is the all-time greatest manager between Bobby the Brain Heenan and the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart? Why do I pick that? Because both of them are absolutely phenomenal. They have managed some of the greats in the business, and they have managed some of the worst in the business, but truly made them somebody during the time they were with them. Bobby the Brain Heenan was a master on the microphone that could come out and say anything at any time, and it just be rolling off the tip of his tongue. Jimmy Hart would put himself out there, and he wouldn't mind making himself look like a fool, dancing around, hopping up and down, and having the microphone to escalate his voice up and to get his voice out even louder into the crowd so the fans in the top could hear him. These guys have worked with biggest names in the business. They were a part of some feuds that if they really didn't have them a part of it, that it would definitely have made that feud not worthy enough. Think about the Nasty Boys taking the tag titles, right? Without Jimmy Hart, that wouldn't have gone over. Jimmy Hart rolling on the ground, kicking his legs up, that made it. Think about Bobby the Brain Heenan walking down at WrestleMania 5 with the Brooklyn Brawler. Any other time you would just think Brooklyn Brawler, why was he on TV? But because he's with Bobby the Brain Heenan, he was somebody that night. Not saying Brooklyn Brawler isn't anybody, because he's one of the all-time greats in the business. He's put over so many different individuals. He was with WWE, I believe, 32 years. But that, Bobby the Brain Heenan, Jimmy Hart, that's a discussion piece that you could discuss for days on end.
All right. So I think I understand the concept here. So I'm going to throw out one, I guess, that's probably current, or current over the last few years. Who is more entertaining to watch, Will Ospreay or Ricochet?
Okay.
Very similar in their style. Not my style necessarily. Definitely entertaining to watch. Psychology kind of goes out the window, but you just hear people say, who's better out of the two? Who's the one that you want to watch more? I mean, I don't have a pick necessarily. Just a debate topic. I don't have the facts to back up either one, which one I would pick. It's kind of just whatever. But
that one really is something that you could sit and you really could stop, talk about. You could break into where Will has been, where Ricochet's been. Mm-hmm. Ricochet's getting that top spotlight with WWE, now over to AEW. Will not going to WWE, picking AEW. That is definitely a debate that can go on for a while. And, it's interesting that you say you don't know who. That one's kind of tough for me, to pick. I think I'll lean more towards one person over the other, but I would definitely be like, yeah, I see your point on that one.
I don't know. I guess I would go Ospreay, but I really, whatever. It's whoever. For me, either one. I don't know. I like Ospreay's theme, so.
Now, we can also go, too, so like say you...
Spray. I like his theme song.
You like that?
Oh, I love his theme.
You like the chant?
I do.
Yeah,
I like it.
Some of those chants aren't good.
No. Some of the chants in AEW are not good. Some they don't even know how to do. But the Osprey one is pretty good. When the 35 people. I don't like to knock the crowds and stuff that they don't draw. So I don't even want to go there. That's kind of lowbrow for me.
So, speaking about chants, that's going to be my next topic. Now, you can also turn around and say, hey, you know what? I got to chant one too, and compare to, because that's the thing. With wrestling, there's so many different outlets and so many different variables that come into play. You could definitely compare people on multiple. But let's say the best chant. What would you say if I was to say, holy, the word we can't say on this TV, or what? What's a bigger chant that made it in professional wrestling?
What's the bigger chant?
Yeah.
Well, I think that the Holy Blank one is the bigger one. I don't know. I mean, what comes out all the time? They did not know that people would still be chanting what 20 years later.
Yeah, they did not.
The Holy Blank one, that one it's big because it happens all the time. You know what? If we could make a whole show just on.
We really
I think you just set up a new show on chance because I couldn't pick you. You know what? They both have their place in wrestling. The Holy Blank one, my son chants it, unfortunately. Holy.
Mine does too.
Holy, yeah.
I think we give our kids a little pass when it comes to wrestling, just because it's
I try not
dear
to let
our
them
heart.
say it. Like I'll tell them, don't say the word. You know.
Yeah.
Come up with a.
I'll go. You know, my son is a little older than your son.
But I
and
see.
my daughter
I see
is
what
too.
your point is about which one's the bigger chant.
Yeah.
Again, we're not going to say
And again,
debate
it's
the whole
too.
thing.
It's
But
yeah, and it's you can go back and forth because well, what's more catchy? What's talk more? What has more feeling? That's something. What do you got for me?
as I said, I'm just thinking of these off the top of my head.
Yeah.
How about I don't know if this is necessarily a debate question. Do you tell me if this is a debate question, or
Sure.
I'll go somewhere else. Do you care about television ratings? Is that a debate question, really, or?
I wouldn't think that because.
See, I'm still.
Well, no, you know what? Maybe, yeah.
No, it's all right. I'll go with.
This one was a little
How about
tough.
this? Okay, how about this? Wrestling is oversaturating. Now, I don't think so, but wrestling is oversaturating itself. Yes or no?
Wrestling.
Now, the reason why I picked that is I don't feel that way. I do think, though, that someone could say, look, now they got 2 nights of WrestleMania. Now they're going to have 2 nights of SummerSlam. Oh, you know they're going to have 2 nights of Royal Rumble. When is AEW going to do something like that? When, they're going to have...
Ideas.
Huh? Hopefully,
give them
hopefully
ideas.
never. But now they got Saturday night's main event, Raw, SmackDown, NXT. So someone could say, yes, wrestling is definitely putting itself out there too much. And again, I don't think it is. I love the fact that they cut Raw from 3 hours to 2. Some people have even already said within those 2 episodes that they've done, well, I wanted to go back to 3. It's not enough now.
You know what? So this is why I like this show idea, because here's a question that wasn't really one that I would even think of for this type of show, but it's really a great debate question because you really can go back and forth. I think for me and you, I think we will be on the same side of the debate for this particular one because the passion we have. What you just said about Raw, they really hit it out of the park with these 2-hour shows.
Well, this week, last week was
I think
hard
the
because
problem,
it was
with it being taped. The problem is now you have SmackDown. You got to give the same energy that if you're doing to Raw into SmackDown too.
And you were custom on Raw for 3 hours for so long. Now you cut it down to 2, and you got so many more people on it.
Right.
Like they just did that 10 women's tag match. That definitely felt like, well, let's throw everyone in one match.
That definitely felt that way. I think, there's certain things that with me I don't like with TKO doing pricings, cutting back events. That it's good cutting back some of the events in some cases for the workers' sake. But I think AEW definitely don't go 2 nights.
No, never.
Please.
All right,
please.
go with your next one. Never.
My next one is, who would you say would be the best referee of all time? Earl Hebner or Charles Robinson?
In the interest of time, I'm not going to really. Earl Hebner, I think, for me. I mean, he's the guy that Hulk Hogan threw or whatever. Earl and Dave are the same to me, whatever. Earl Hebner's who I think of when I think of refs.
Well, that's the thing. You could sit here and really debate. Earl Hebner is somebody that has an abundance of history with professional wrestling, and it has a major moment in wrestling history that you tie him to. But then again, you have Charles Robinson, major moments, but he has something to tie him to.
I just thought of a good one.
You know, if you were to say Charles Robinson was the next Earl Hebner, absolutely. If you're going to compare them two, I don't think it's an easy draw down the middle. I really, really don't. And you got to remember, Charles Robinson also does a lot more for the company than Earl Hebner did, too. So,
Yeah, well,
and that's not a dig. It's just.
does Charles Robinson make T-shirts and sell them out of the trunk of their car or whatever? All right, I just thought of this one. Again, remember, I learned about this one
Right.
as you people did. All right, I
been a wacky day.
just was having this discussion maybe a couple nights ago. What drew WrestleMania 1? Wanting to see Hulk Hogan beat up Roddy Piper, or wanting Roddy Piper to get beat up by Hulk Hogan? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Did you want to see Hulk Hogan, or did you want to see Hulk Hogan beat up Roddy Piper? Roddy Piper will say, everyone came because they wanted to see Hulk Hogan beat me up. Hulk Hogan will say, it could have been anybody. They wanted to see me. I say that you would have had more fans come to see Hulk Hogan versus whoever than Roddy Piper getting beat up by whoever. Like if it wasn't Piper and it was
Yep.
just say so anyone. I think that it doesn't matter. It all meshed well. But I think Hulk Hogan versus anyone would have drawn. Had anyone been in that position, I think it would have drawn well. Had they taken out Hogan, it might not have drawn as well. That's what my thinking is.
And again, though, that's a great question because, again, you have two different sides. And, you know, not signing anything with Roddy Piper because he's an official Wrestling Museum Hall of Famer, you had a different level with Piper. Piper was definitely a character and a wrestling style like no other. There really wasn't another Piper out there then or now.
I said what I said, but
me
personally, I think it just was all right time, right place for
It
all
really,
of them.
it really, truly was. And being at WrestleMania 1, I really think this was a very safe, smart business move for them to have made at that particular time. So now we're coming down to our last picks each. And this one's kind of tough because now you're trying to think, which one should I toss out? You can go best tag teams, you can go best managers, best, and I already did managers, but still. I'm going to go with best gear between two parties, let's just say, okay? And again, there's other people that have amazing gear, but best gear, RVD or the New Day?
Cody
No.
Rhodes.
Well, see?
Out of them two, I don't know. Rob Van Dam I would have went RVD, Ravish, and Rick Rude. They're the two known for the airbrushing.
Well, there you go. There's another. I'm going to put that one down as an honorable mention. You know what? I'll even be willing to change it because you are right, the airbrushing. So we'll
Ryback had airbrushing too.
all right, well, hey, I'm only changing this one, okay? So Rick Rude, all right? And now, here you go. Both airbrushing, really great.
I'm going to go with Rick Rude if I had to pick one.
Now
He was always
we
different
can
for the
get down
events.
to different, gear. And like you said, with the events and stuff. RVD, I always liked his gear. I think it was really catching, and it was something different that you really didn't get to see that much. Not too many people were switching up their look again and again every week. Being airbrushed, it takes a lot of skill to do, but it was an easy turnaround and stitching at that, especially at that time. Rick Rude, I think probably one of the best gears out there. Really, he fit to the gimmick of the story each and every time. Not taking anything against New Day, but I always liked their gear. It always was able to match together.
We've talked about that color by numbers gear was awesome.
That was my absolute favorite gear. of all
Beyond
time.
people's comprehension because so many people didn't understand it.
Yeah. And then they started to color in each
through the months, yep.
Absolutely.
I have
phenomenal.
one. I guess I just thought of one. I guess it's timely. So I don't know if this fits, but tell me if it's wrong, off, like how I asked with the other
good.
one. Should WWF be involved with doing their shows in Saudi Arabia?
That's a really good debate.
Yeah, I know that it's a big topic with a lot of people, so that's why I thought of it. My personal, yes, the answer is obviously yes or no. Should they be involved and should they be doing the shows over there? My answer is no. I don't want to really get into politics and stuff. I feel how I feel, and it doesn't matter what you think at home. You feel how you feel, and that's what makes this country great. I feel how I feel, and based on just how, it has nothing to do with the people, some of the people over there. It has to do with the political structure over there and stuff. That don't care for America. Why go over there? And without getting into too much detail, my answer is just no. And
the thing
again, if someone's offended by it, then so be it.
Well, here's the thing. You just said it's
a
yes
money
or no,
grab.
and that's it, but it's not. It's really a debate, and you can really sit and talk. And I think a lot of people are going to look at that in multiple different ways.
There's
I
a lot,
think you can go.
No, I was going to say, there's a lot of different ways
I
to look at
think
it.
where you see things on this, I think I would definitely side a lot on that side.
Yeah.
A lot of the workers don't feel comfortable. Financially, for the company, it was a great business meeting. And also, to play devil's advocate, it really shows what professional wrestling can do in any situation. It really, truly does, because think about it. They are able to go over there, put on a show. They were able to now gain more of what females being out and being exposed.
I mean, they like to put that out there. I don't know.
They had these things that they're gradually increasing.
I do know that, like, for example, when they just did at Bad Blood, when Triple H showed the belt, got a lot of boos. A lot of people are against it. That's why I thought of it, and I was like, of all debates, this is timely. Again, I would think that it would be smarter to not. It definitely gave them money, but in the future, do you see them continuing when the contract is up? I do, especially with TKO owning them now. They're not going to turn. Again, I like to use that term. They're not letting that money train leave without them.
Well, look, it's 20 years that they're locked in over there, too.
Okay, 20, whatever.
Right? Isn't it 20?
I don't know if it's 20 or 10. I thought it was 10.
I thought
it was 7 and then 10.
It might have been that. Maybe
either
I'm
way,
thinking 20 for Netflix.
Either way, 20 is Netflix.
So maybe that's what I'm getting.
Well, either way, I think that TKO will do another thing with
TKO
him.
wanted it in there because he wanted to get MMA and
TKO does UFC there.
UFC, I mean.
Yeah,
so it's definitely all a political thing.
All right, go ahead, because we don't want to run out of time. So
we don't. So here are.
We could do so many.
Yeah, that's the great thing.
There's so many. What do they call those?
Debate questions.
No.
Oh, honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions.
Absolutely.
There's so many. I don't want to get into them.
Right.
Best tag team, best this, best that. So let's not even do honorable mentions.
And I'm surprised you didn't toss out like a best tag team.
I figured
Demolition and somebody.
See, that was in my head.
Demolition LOD was really big.
That was in my head.
We're gonna make that
right away. But I was like, you know what? I'm not going to throw that out there because it's too easy. That would be obvious that probably, and if people at home are watching, people would know, like, oh, he's going to say who's the best tag team. I'm not going to put that out there because it's just too easy for me. I wanted to think of some different things. Everyone knows it's Demolition. But anyway, so how do we pick?
So now we need
Demolition was the better tag team. LOD was, Road Warriors were the most influential. All right, what's
But see, that's why this topic or this show is so great because it gets you guys thinking, and the holiday parties, Halloween parties coming up. You can talk about
Halloween parties.
Different
Hey,
things.
who are the best wrestling gear?
You know what I mean? You never know if a ghost underneath the table will start talking to you, and you can start talking
All right,
wrestling.
hurry up. We're gonna run out of time if we don't pick.
You have the most entertainment between Will and Ricochet. Wrestling is oversaturated, yes or no? The draw for WrestleMania 1 with Hogan being Piper being Hogan. Should WWE be doing the overseas shows in Saudi Arabia?
I think
yes
that
or
one
no?
makes it for me because it's timely. And I think that if you were talking today, all that other stuff, even if Ricochet or Ospreay is timely as far as current, I think that the Saudi Arabia shows, that's something that people would love to get into because then it would turn into politics. And you know how people are with politics.
Now,
People
I think
love
it'd be great. I had the best manager between Bobby the Brain Heenan and Jimmy Hart. I really think that would be a great topic piece. And I would like to toss that one in, to be honest with you. And best chance with the Holy and what? Best referees, Earl Hebner, Charles Robinson. Best gear, RVD, Rick Rude.
Best managers. I mean, I necessarily don't agree with both guys.
Really?
But no, I think there's other managers out there too. But I think best manager itself is something that you could debate. That's what I'm saying. I'm debating
right.
you over who's even on the list. So I think best manager does make it. I think that I don't know. I'm kind of torn between my two of oversaturation on wrestling and the WrestleMania 1 debate. WrestleMania 1 debate, I think, would be something more for older people.
Yeah.
The oversaturation, I think that also could be for older people, but I think out of the two, I think that would be the better one out of the two, because it's like, okay, when is too much too much? Are they doing too much? Is the 2 nights of WrestleMania too much? I don't think it is personally, because I haven't really heard that many people saying it. I've heard people say I'm tired. I'm like, man, it's so much. But I haven't heard people say it like, when there was a point where I felt like wrestling was very oversaturated.
Yeah, and I was against WrestleMania for 2 nights. It's starting to grow on me.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it being on Easter next year. I really think
You hunt for your eggs and then...
Right, for us, but think about the workers with their families. You know what I mean?
They don't.
You just turned around before
company
you...
doesn't care about that.
Well, TKO
They can
does
look
that.
for the eggs in their hotel rooms. The Easter Bunny goes everywhere.
All right, so we need to pick another one.
What was your other one? What were
The
your...
best chant, the best ref, and the best gear.
Me personally, I like best gear.
Yeah.
I always
We'll
am
go with
talking
best
about
gear.
people's gears. Another one I could have said was best theme song, Knowing Me.
Yep, that's another
I
one.
could have always thrown in best theme song.
So we have gone with...
So I guess if I could pick one, you have one honorable mention.
Yeah.
I know you put best tag team for me. I think best theme song also is an honorable
Best
mention.
themes, yep, that would definitely
Which
be one.
also everyone knows is Demolition. And if hey, you know what? Go check out Down That Aisle. It's on the YouTube page.
Yes, and speaking about Down the Aisle, it is coming right here on this channel for you guys every weekend morning. We're going to have the times and everything for you next week.
Yeah, we'll group a
Make
couple
sure you guys-
episodes. Down
Yep.
That Aisle is just...
It's gonna be something special for
normally
you
it's
guys.
only like a 3 or 4 or 5 minute episode, but we've grouped together like a collection of the first like 5 or so, and we're going to throw them on, so you can check them out. If you like them, go check them out on the YouTube page. I think there's about 20 of them up
Yeah,
now.
it's been...
And they do pretty good. What was that? Huh?
Nothing like Q&A. Never mind.
You might as well just say it, because I don't know what that is.
Never mind.
What?
Don't worry about it.
2 to 5?
Never mind. We'll just go off of that.
Okay, whatever.
Anywho, we hope you guys enjoy. So our final 4 corners is, should wrestling be down in Saudi Arabia?
Oh, it was...
No, not that. The best manager with Bobby the Brain Heenan and Jimmy Hart. Best gear with Rick Rude and RVD. Wrestling oversaturated, yes or no? Let us know what you guys think. If you would have picked them, if you would have picked
At first I
different
didn't
things.
understand the concept,
Yep.
but then I kind of got it.
And I think maybe, we could do like a free preview and we could do some debates going back and forth.
Yeah, the thing is we couldn't really debate here.
Right, and this is just getting you topics, just showing that, hey, you can continue to talk about professional wrestling whenever you want to talk about it. We do thank you guys very much for tuning in. Make sure you guys check out that QR code, and you know what they say.
Come back next week and maybe we'll know what we're putting in the corners.
See you next week, folks.